Hello friends, welcome to Game It Up. My name is Dave and I have a question to ask. Have you ever discovered a game or film and thought to yourself, that looks like it's been tailor-made for me? That is exactly what happened to me a few weeks ago when I saw a listing on the Nintendo eShop for a game called The Spy Who Shot Me. Although this has been out on Steam for a few years now, I had never heard of it before. I am looking at the Nintendo Switch version today. There is a very obvious reason I took to this game, my love for GoldenEye, which this game is clearly inspired by. But there's more to it than that. GoldenEye is not just one of my favourite games of all time, but it was also a gateway into the James Bond franchise as a whole for me, and I became a huge fan of James Bond afterwards. The Spy Who Shot Me not only takes its inspiration from that N64 shooter, clearly it does, just look at it, but there is a clear love for the James Bond series as a whole here, and this game lovingly makes fun of it and honours it at the same time.
Smash.
As well as being a retro throwback. It can be easy to think that this is just nostalgia pandering, as I believe the cool kids say these days, and people could dismiss it for that. Maybe it is just that, but I don't care. Like I said, it feels like this game was catered for me specifically, and I am enjoying myself. Is this for you though? Well, let's dive deeper into this game and see what it has to offer. You play as Agent 7, who is clearly modelled after Sean Connery, yet he sounds nothing like him.
They really need to fix this door. Someone might get hurt.
You work for MI69? Yeah, it's that sort of parody game. You can walk around the building talking to Smithers, who is the Q character.
No crazy inventions today, Smithers.
We're still repairing your last escapade.
You should install brakes next time.
Nonsense, 7. The only fault is with the driver.
And Mother, who is the M character. You get an assignment and that takes you to a level. The levels take place in different locations as you need to complete your mission. These involve you exploring the stage, shooting baddies and completing objectives. There will be doors that need opening or a set piece to activate, which are done by finding these 7 symbols floating around. The game uses dual analog controls with the right trigger to shoot and the left trigger to sprint. You can use left and right on the D-pad to switch guns, but they annoyingly don't cycle back to the beginning if you keep pressing right. You can also press down on the D-pad to change the function of your gun, such as putting a silencer on your pistol. The X and Y buttons are used for projectiles such as knives and grenades, and eventually you can unlock a jump move with the A button, and B is to crouch. The game runs nice and smoothly and it is satisfying to shoot the enemies, and there are some nice touches such as shooting the pipes to kill the enemies with steam.
Seems he couldn't take the pressure.
And Agent 7 has some nice one-liners.
I guess he couldn't take the heat.
The humour in this game is on point, with not just James Bond references but some nice sight gags. Signs in the MI69 building show that Agent 7 is known for being a bit too trigger happy, which immediately tells you a lot about him. One of the first things I did in this game is find a snooker table in a room while I was looking for the lab, then I wandered into some toilets and okay. But I did feel like I was in a maze trying to find my way around, which the missions can feel like that too. The first level being in the White House, I got disoriented a fair bit, and it happened in later areas too. Graphically, it has given itself a low polygon look to bring in that nostalgia, but I also feel like this art style really helps with the game's humour, especially with some of the animations. I find Agent 6 tied up, the obvious pun is made.
Still hanging around, 6.
Ha ha ha. When I rescue him, 6 just slithers to the next part of the mission like a snake, but he's just gliding along the floor. I thought this was a glitch at first, but when I died and did that bit again, the same thing happened. It is clearly intentional as the mission complete screen keeps it going. I just found this really funny. And Agent 7 must have found his pun really funny as well, because he uses it again.
Holiday 7, Agent 6 might be onto something.
I hope he's not hanging around like last time.
Come on dude, Mother wasn't even there, so how would he get that joke? The animations on the enemies are pretty basic too, and I find it hilarious. The same with the weird grunts they make. They're more like zombies. I also like how some of them celebrate after killing you. There is an element of stealth to the game. You are able to sneak up on enemies and take them down before they see you, but it's not as emphasised as it was in GoldenEye or Perfect Dark. Not all enemies carry guns, so there'll be plenty holding melee weapons such as knives and they'll charge at you, which does lessen the danger when there's a horde of them, as you just need to keep your distance, and it's very satisfying to take them down, especially with headshots. But speaking of dying, and yes, I did mention dying just now I think, but it is something I did quite a lot. You have the option between normal and hard mode. I chose normal and still got my backside handed to me. The enemy placement is the same every time, so when I retried, I did a little better. There are checkpoints in this game, but they are used sparingly. Old school fans of games like GoldenEye or Perfect Dark will be used to not having any at all, so just having one in a level does feel nice. But for those who play more modern games, I mean, I remember the Call of Duty games I played having checkpoints every 10 seconds it seemed, they'll probably find this very frustrating. There were especially bits where I had to stay inside a circle for a time to do a mission while enemies came at me infinitely. They can be a bit of a drag. But overall, I am a fan of hard games and this game was fun enough to keep me wanting to try again and again. You have a list of objectives, but some of the secondary objectives such as rescuing hostages or destroying something are optional. You can just play through the story normally, but those extra objectives are a nice incentive for replay value. The music sets the tone nicely. I love how the menu music is just not quite the James Bond theme. The sound effects and grunts complement the old school look and feel of the game really well. So that's what this game has to offer, a nostalgic throwback to 90s shooters, a loving parody of James Bond, simple to pick up gameplay mechanics with basic exploring and shooting, a game that doesn't hold your hand, doesn't tell you where to go, it kicked me down plenty of times and I kept wanting to come back for more, and it also has plenty of immature humour and sight gags thrown in for good measure. So yeah, this does feel like a game tailored especially for me personally, and it was only £7.09, that is an amazing price for what I got. But bear in mind, I do understand that this isn't for everybody, so I felt it important to highlight exactly what this game is about and why it appeals to me so much. But does it appeal to you? Let me know in those comments down below and make sure to like and subscribe for more videos to come in the future. Thanks for joining Game It Up, and we'll see you in the next one.
Oh, darling, you're just too good.
Checkmate. And now I really must go. Holiday's over.